Today's story is about our rapid descent into madness, the ultimate test of our patience, and a close look at our deteriorating sanity. That's right, we're talking about our cursed playthrough of Balan Wonderworld. Balan Wonderworld. Where to even begin? From questionable development choices and management, lack of experience and talents, instant pressure from Square Enix, high hopes from fans, to immediate letdown from a broken demo, to even a bigger letdown the moment this game was released on March 26, 2021. It was bad. Everyone in the entire world hated this game, except for Joe Mama. It's highly regarded as a game to stay away from because of its awkward game design, baby down controls, horrible platforming, and so on and so on. Just stay away. You'd have more fun playing Wii Fit with 2 broken legs. If you're ever held hostage and get asked the question, you beat Balan, the girl lives. You refuse, she's toast. Choose the latter. Actually, Matt and I were forced to play this atrocity a little while back when we fell under a curse. The two of us were trapped in our game room, and the only way out was to play and appreciate a few trash games to lift the curse. We don't really remember much about Balan since we hit our breaking point and blacked out after a little progression due to sheer cringe and unbearable gameplay. But hey, we somehow put a temporary stop on the curse, and away we tossed Balan in our beloved backlog corner where we received a message. We had 1 year to complete the game or the curse will live on. Oh no, this curse is gonna take over. Ooh, how scary. God, it's so dumb. Well, we are the biggest procrastinators, and just like that, a year flew by. March 27th was right around the corner. We were doing nothing but playing Club Penguin Game Day on the Wii for months straight, instead of playing good games. We were really getting into it, putting on a sweat and a show. I needed a quick refresher before hopping into the next minigame. It was at that moment when I was reminded of the curse. Oh, god damn it. It dawned on us that maybe the reason we haven't been playing good video games lately is because of this curse that's about to take over. It was finally time to stop putting this daunting task off and once and for all beat Balan Wonderworld to regain our happiness back. This is our playthrough. Alright, first order of business is selecting a character. We got Leo Craig and Emma Cole. Just 2 ordinary kids that look like characters from a shitty online virtual world game for young teens. Oh, damn! Leo Craig, the next big TikTok star in the making. Instagram's next big wheeler. Get this man a contract on the double. And just like that, like a flip of a switch, depression. Emo. Leo versus the world. We see him being lured down in an alleyway by a marshmallow peep. We're then introduced to Emma, who's going through her own struggles, though her story comes off more disheartening. Leo's just dumb. Curiosity gets the best of them as these 2 kids from the opposite ends of the world stumble upon a mysterious theater. The maestro, Balan, just suddenly pops up and tells us we're missing a piece of our hearts. We're literally given no choice and have to go on an adventure through Balan's Wonderworld to find it, thus restoring the lost balance in our hearts, aka restoring the chemical imbalance in our brains. After that beautiful looking cutscene, we're just thrusted onto some floating island called the Isle of Tims. And because we're playing on the Switch, it looks more like a demo for a 2008 PC game. But look at these controls! Every button does the same thing. A, B, X, Y, L, and R. If C, D, E, F, and Z 1, 2, 3 were on here, they'd all make you jump too so you can plummet to your demise. Oh, you think we're gonna stop acting like a couple of rage boys? No, you're dead wrong. So we head into Chapter 1, Act 1, The Man Who Rages Against the Storm. The rage within us continues as our characters constantly get stuck together. I know we're twins and all, but we're not Siamese twins. Get off me, dude! This happens every single time you get near one another. Why can't you just vanish like this giant-ass farmer who doesn't need to be that fucking big? God damn, dude! Lay off the veggies and corns, brother! Actually, every character evaporates in thin air the moment you get too close. Like us, trying to avoid any sort of human interaction in the outside world. This part of the game gets picked on quite a lot. Apparently, it was developed this way to get this, not mistake the player into thinking they're enemies. Or they just don't want to be part of this game. I mean, who can blame them? If I had dance moves like those, I'd be ashamed of myself too. So we use our new power-up, the Tornado Wolf, to break this block so that we can open the door to collect our first statue, which is the main premise of the game, I guess. Collect enough and we get to unlock new worlds. It's like collecting moons in Super Mario Odyssey or cat shines in Bowser's Fury. The worlds are openly accessible, and you can head right to the next moon or shine without being booted back to the hub. Except the difference with those games is we actually have the desire to want to come back and explore and collect as many shines or moons. With Balan, We just don't care. It was part of our code of conduct to avoid replayability and just blast our way through the entire game as fast as humanly possible. Oh, and we discovered the perfect method for pulling this off. Remember when we mentioned that we hated accidentally getting stuck together? We were wrong. Infinite double jumps. If one player jumps and then the other player jumps right afterwards, you got yourselves some broken gameplay. And admittedly, this made the game fun for us. We felt no shame. Another benefit of the Siamese twin trick was that I was perfect for taking breaks, allowing the other player to take control of both characters while the other sat back and watched Leo Craig try not to Fortnite dance Instagram reels. After collecting a few statues and running into an evil-looking Balan clone who summoned the most worthless enemies known in existence, we collected a gold hat that summons Balan himself. It takes us to a quick time event where you press one button a few times. Okay, pretty boring. Nothing much to complain about yet. So that was Act 1. We arrived back at the Isle of Tims, where we fed our pet peeps called Tims with the collectibles that you find called drops. You throw them in the corresponding color of Flower Patch so that they can grow up big and strong and help contribute to the construction of the almighty Tower of Tims. Sounds like a massive waste of time. This feature is supposed to be like Chao guarding from a handful of Sonic games. A relaxing, carefree part of the game where you raise your precious Chaos. Our Tims will never have the love and care as our Chaos did in Sonic DX, like Sasuke in Big Butt or F***er. We have other matters to focus on, like another corn level. New costumes that feels utterly useless. Oh, we can't forget about the soccer minigame. We breezed past the low IQ puzzles, fell asleep through another quick time event, and defeated the boss at the end of the level with our eyes still closed. We beat the level, and a cutscene starts to play. Okay, so each world is based on the bad memories of other people in Wonderworld, whose hearts are distressed like Leo and Emma's. It's our job to defeat the darkness that corrupted each heart. Darkness that was created by the mysterious Balan clone Lance, who we encountered earlier. Chapter 1 is home to Jose the farmer, who tragically lost his corn to a tornado. We take down the boss with bare minimum effort and you suddenly wish you were a miscarriage. Seriously, what was that? Why do this? We refuse to believe that there is one human being that exists in this world that doesn't cringe over that, including the creator of this mess. A High School Musical 2 repeat marathon with mandatory sing and dance alongs sounds way more fun than watching this atrocity. Can we just go back to Dance Off and Club Penguin? You know, the simpler times? Please, just run me over with the cement truck, mix up my bits, and then use that to construct my tombstone. No need to dig a hole or anything. After collecting enough Balan statues, we ride a magical TwoChoo train around the Isle and unlock the next world. Chapter 2 is a water theme level. Everyone hates water levels. And we hate this game, so with our powers combined, we double jumped and cheesed our way through the entire thing. The same story with Act 2, just a big fat cheese sandwich, like this one right here. In order to get this power up, you need the fixer-up costume from the last chapter to repair this object to help you get onto that platform. Or you could just get it now. And the best part, you get a double jump power. Now, we're truly unstoppable. This close to giving up and embracing the curse. Oh, this happens after every boss fight, by the way. And there's 12 of them. Sure, you can skip them, thank God. But we decided to embrace every second of it to the point where we memorized every single dance move. We would crush it at America's Got Talent. Moving on. Chapter 3 is titled The Girl Who's Gaga for Bugs. And boy, believe us when we tell you that we are gaga for this chapter. So gaga that we will hold your hand and describe every detail about the entire level. We're talking everything. Alright, we survived another dance cutscene and now it's time to move on to Chapter 4. The story here is about this dweeb and his ultimate dream to fly through the sky. Invention after invention, failure after failure, he becomes his own worst enemy. Shut up. Yeah, no one cares. But hey, admittedly the level and costumes aren't that bad. The Soaring Sheep is oddly satisfying. The Acrobat is a fun play on words, good at fighting enemies, and progressing through the levels. Laser Launcher shoots lasers in multiple directions, and then there's Box Fox, the huge floating whale island. Remember that? Not really. You can spot it flying around the background in each act. At the end of the second act, you wait for it at the top of the level to jump on. It feels like something from Super Mario Galaxy. It's a nice change of pace. It serves no purpose other than containing the end goal that rests on its head. Like, at least provide a boss fight or a puzzle or anything. Now we gotta fight Warville Wright, the airplane boss. Who'd make a better mascot for the Wright State Raiders? Fun trivia, Warville's favorite color is green. After an intense showdown and throwing down with our boy on the dance floor, we watch him conquer his inner demons and take flight, thanks to us. Yeah, we're taking the credit here. We fly our way over to Chapter 5, and what a bitch this one was. We don't know, something about this one just pissed us off. It felt laggy and cluttered. These ramps were dumb. The new lizard costume was cool for like 12 seconds. You go into first person mode and launch your tongue onto these floating balls like a hook shot. But it wasn't satisfying in the slightest. Slow and tedious. Like carefully peeling the plastic off on a cup of mandarin oranges. I don't have the patience for this. Just double jump. Let's go. We only managed to collect 2 statues in Act 1, but like we mentioned before, this ain't no Super Mario Odyssey. Less exploring and more flooring through the game. What's next? Bowling? Sure, bowling!
Nice shot!
Gear Prince from Chapter 6. Gear Prince has a special kind of power, unlike any that we've encountered thus far. You open doors. We clear out the enemies in the next room with our godlike powers, and now it's up to the almighty Gear Lord to lead us both to the treacherous tower. Yeah, if you get hit once, you lose your power up. It's now up to Sheep Boy. Soaring Sheep clutched out a couple of statues, and then we ran into a bunch of gears to platform up. You're supposed to use Pumpkin Puncher to navigate this part. You can't jump with this costume, by the way. Yeah, all these buttons, and you're only limited to 1 action per costume. Why can't it just be normal and have a dedicated jump and attack button? I mean, the NES was able to figure that out. The initial philosophy for this game during development was to appeal to a wide audience, meaning babies. So, the thoughtful people at Balan Company made the controls as simple as possible. 1 button, 1 action. Stop holding our hand! They may as well have programmed a giant red arrow that covers the entire screen telling you where to go, with subtitles and a voice that tells you step by step how to navigate through the level. How about throwing a demo video that pops up every 5 seconds too, to demonstrate exactly how to play for all you visual learners out there? F it, they should have just programmed one of the buttons to just autoplay for you. When you obtain a power-up in most 3D platformers, you become that power-up. It changes you. You feel it. When you get a new power-up in this game, you become chronically ill. You use it for about 1 or 2 puzzles, and then that's it. Act 2 was a mess. We could enter time portals and freeze time with the Chrono Bunny. The Air Cat was our new favorite costume, so say goodbye to Gear Prince. We can now focus our Reshi to walk on air and blast through the levels far more easily. In order to open up the next chapters, we needed to collect 5 more statues in this act. However, we only found 3. The 2 of us quickly grew tired of running around like buffoons, so we gave up. The story here is by far the most touching one. Some little girl was out and about in the city when she crossed paths with a kitten. They became best friends, and then it almost gets smashed to bits, so she runs off crying, consumed by anxiety. We embarrassed the cat boss Perla, reversed time, crisis averted, and obtained 2 statues during the fight, giving us exactly 50 to move on. Life was good. Until we ran into Quad Man. What is this? You see, this is what happens when you have 80 costumes. Yeah, 80. That was the main hook for this game. Sure, it sounds interesting, but ridiculous at the same time. Like, could you ever see Nintendo making 50 power-ups for Mario for his next game? No, because realistically, you lose ideas after like 16. Then you start to get desperate when coming up with ideas, repeating the same abilities, but altering it just slightly. The programmers were probably at their desks, frantically coming up with ideas because the game was going to be released in a week. Captain Coffee, yeah, let's do that. A flower that, floats or something? I don't give a shit. Marker Man. I'm surprised Staple Man isn't in this game. His hands would look like this, and he would shoot these big ass staples. I made this character up when I was like 4 or 5. I'd run around outside like an asshole, shooting down bad guys. If you let little 4 or 5-year-old us handle the costume design, we would have killed it. We had Iceman, Rockman, well, I mean, Speed and Cheetah was pretty fun though. So was the concept for Act 2. Only because it was different. You had to like press a certain number of buttons in each area in order to go to the next section. Finding all the buttons also raises the tower that rests in the middle. Once it's fully erect, we can now reach the mysterious door that opened up, leading us to a new area to explore. There's also this part where you gotta chase down this little bandit for a statue. Why couldn't there be more unique mini challenges like this throughout the other chapters, rather than just lazily throwing them around for the most part? Cool objectives like this is what makes a level stand out and memorable. I mean, sure, it wasn't that creative or anything, but it was something. The next area was pretty straightforward. Of course, we cheated our way through and watched Chao, the chess god, ascend to madness after losing one little game, like a little baby rage boy. Bro, come on, it's just one game. The boss, Fortsefor IV, has two figures, his true form and his vessel. It was actually a good boss fight, but of course, it was too easy. Chapter 8 is all about being too scared to love. So were we, because our unfaithful playstyle took over as we hit-stunned our way through these thingies and cheaply frost-jumped with our new favorite power-up. We got all the statues except for the 2 Balan bouts that we choked on. Yeah, what a surprise. These repetitive, recycled Balan bouts drove us insane. We're sick of them. Some of them are just so goddamn long. We aren't entirely sure which is a worse feeling. Nailing excellence only to slip up at the end, or missing the first one and having to sit through the entire QTE. Knowing you're not going to get the statue. And you can't redo it either. You gotta leave the level and come back. The cinematics and the face-offs against Lance are visually impressive, though it's not enough to make you enjoy doing them 2 or 3 times a level. However, the two of us weren't afraid to love the overall aesthetics of both acts, the charming winter music and the skating gimmick. Act 2 utilized this more with its downhill ice slides. We almost shed a tear when we watched Iben's depressing memory. Feeling a tad moved, we beat the piss out of the cold-hearted Grim Creeper, allowing Iben to discover love again. Chapter 9. The Man Who Fell for a Princess. Why would anyone fall down and hurt themselves in order to impress a woman? What a clown show. Okay, so basically the highlights here were rolling around in the Star Wars droid-looking panda ball costumes and the train. The train was cool. Yeah. We then went on a little haunted house tour in Act 2 that was full of decent goodies like smashing platforms and spinning hallways. See, we could be somewhat positive about our experience. Right, but there's also 2 power-ups that function the exact same in this chapter, so yeah, I was pretty dumb. Yeah, the boss was pretty dumb too. Princess Mary was crazy. What did Ali Leo even see in her? She jumps around, the ground constantly rotates, you're always having to avoid something. Each boss has 3 ways in which you can hurt them. We were basically one-trick ponies during the boss fights and opted to just one move, like reflecting her torpedoes. Repeat that 3 times and voila! Back to the Isle of Tims we go, unlocking the final 3 chapters. The end is almost near. Or was it? We were trapped in a labyrinth. Stairs to the left and to the right, here and over there, going up and going down. Some led to nowhere while some led to even more stairs. The ceilings were floors, the walls were disarrayed. We were lost in one big optical illusion. We were in a painter's block. Have no fear, X-Ray Ape is here to save the day. Chapter 10 was basically an anxiety attack. It was such a hassle to navigate, especially Act 2. Not only does it look like a nightmare, playing it felt like one too. We couldn't help but give it a nod of respect because of its accurate representation of what a creator's block may look like, something we both struggle with from time to time. The boss wasn't much of a challenge, although the atmosphere was certainly captivating. You fight on this never-ending winding hallway, symbolizing Lucy's mind spiraling out of control, kinda like what our minds look like from watching another dance take place. So, Lucy paints the darkness away as she paints the beautiful fresh morning sky, like a new beginning. We head on over to chapter 11 and honestly, I don't remember much of Act 1. This was the part where I just put my controller down and let Mike do most of the work because I felt like I was suffering severe brain damage by this point. What am I supposed to do when Mike is pushing these big ass blocks? I just phased out in existence, in my own world, wishing we can go back to the days of, I don't know, 101%ing Donkey Kong 64. But no. I was stuck watching you running around, shooting water out of your little fire hydrant arms in order for you to create a path to walk on top of the lava, even though the lava goes away every 3 seconds. Meanwhile, the lava doesn't even affect me, so I was basically just one-upping Jesus the whole time. So we finished the act by performing the old classic, because why would we want to waste 25 minutes pushing these around? Act 2 was a nice change of pace. The end is located at the beginning, surrounded by lava, and trapped behind a cage, which leads us to questioning how to open it, and what lies at the end. And also, why does Ladderman exist? Ladderman! Yeah! We blast down a mini-boss which opened up the floodgates and put out the lava, symbolic of what a brave firefighter would do. Unlike Buddy Ease here, who is longing to be a courageous hero that helps others in need, but has a fear of fire. So naturally we come to the rescue after, accidentally dying. Now Eas is a true hero to society. Kinda like us, right? We're trying so hard to be heroes and rid the curse. I think society would rather exile us for trying to beat Balan. Well, only one chapter remains if we want to deem ourselves heroes. Chapter 12. The Man seen by no one. Right off the bat, the atmosphere intrigued us, like we were in some sort of imaginary dimension. It was fascinating. Worst one, yeah, not even close. All excitement was just sucked right out of us. We just rolled around like a couple of fools. Vacuum Nation, let's ride. Yeah. Let's go. Woo, let's go, baby. Let's go, boys. Woo. Coming through. Yeah, alright. That's bullshit. One more act remained. We needed 4 statues, and then we were done. We dodged oncoming laser beams, risked it all for one, and I watched Matt play dirty. 109 out of 110. 1 statue left. We went in for the gamble and hoped to obtain the last one during the boss fight against Hooverton, the vicious vacuum, the one who corrupted poor man Bruce Stone's heart. All this dude wanted was to clean the city from rubbish, but no one cared. No one cared. After a case of trial and error and clueless gameplay, we figured out the rhythm and came out victorious. But most importantly, we secured the final statue. It's time to finally beat Balan Wonderworld and never play this game ever again. Lance wiped the floor with us. You see, you're allowed to pick any 3 costumes you want, except the only problem was we didn't have a lot to choose from. It was at this moment we realized you can store and swap power-ups during levels. We were always confused with why we only had a few costumes anytime we accessed the little changing room. So we were left with 2 options. Either we clutch the final boss with only a couple of costumes, or go back and play more levels in order to store up on power-ups, thus breaking our sacred code of conduct. God damn it. There we were, putting in the man hours, collecting costumes, snagging a statue here and there, even discovering new power-ups. Like, Meadow, bad boy. What a fucking piece of shit this guy is. This little mission should take us, 30 minutes? An hour at best? No. Our completionist urges mightily took over. During our little hunt, we ran into a rainbow drop. Something we completely forgot and didn't care about during our entire playthrough. You don't feed the rainbow drops to your collection of Tims. They're to be offered to the Father Tim statue. We shamelessly looked up a walkthrough for the quickest way to obtain the rainbow drops, because admittedly, we were a tad curious. Then shamelessly cheated by doing this infinite strat. And there we have it. After feeding the Father Tim statue enough rainbow drops, he now wants a King Tim. Alright, well, how do you get a King Tim? Welcome to the most tedious, exhausting, irritating part of the game. Feeding a Tim a certain amount of one color grants them a medal of that color of drop. They need a cyan, pink, and red medal. Yeah, forget the color yellow. So that meant we had to once again break the code of conduct and search high and low for cyan, pink, and red drops. You can't just throw your drops out for everyone to feast on either. No, you'd be a fool for doing that because your special Tim will only have time to eat a couple as opposed to a bunch, thus slowing the process. Because all these other little bastards want their fair share too. Now, get out of here, all of you, get! So Mike had to herd them away in order for the chosen Tim to eat all by himself, like he was playing Puffle Roundup in Club Penguin. Seems like a genius plan, but it backfired half the time, because after eating like 2 drops, the little bastard would run off to the tower, like an impatient 8-year-old who stops eating their Burger King chicken nuggets to go play in the playpen. So we had to fish him out like an angry parent and repeat it all again. There were a few moments where our chosen Tim would obtain 2 out of the 3 medals, but then just vanished. What the hell? I mean, maybe he died or got lost during our adventures of collecting more drops. So we had to start all over. We finally got our big boy with all 3 medals, but oh no, there's more. You have to do this all again. That's right, find another Tim, make sure he's the only one around with the flowers, fish him out of the playpen, search for more drops while making sure one of them has to be fully grown while the other has to be small. So make sure you don't overfeed him. After long labor hours, it was time to breed these lovebirds by throwing the small one at the big one. Yeah, that's their method of breeding. No time for kink shaming. They should drop an egg, and a newborn Tim with a crown should hatch from it. It's random chance. Now, does that mean we have to restart the entire painstaking process? No. Thankfully, we can soft reset till we get it. Even that took forever because we always had to wait for the big one to get off his damn trampoline. Oh yeah, just take your sweet time, big guy. About 20 or so attempts later, the king is finally born. there's more. King Tim has to grow up a bit to the point where we can pick him up. But not too big. We sacrifice him to the father statue where we summon the Ultima Tim. Ride on his back and soar high above the Isle of Tims to a distant, mysterious island floating in the sky where a new power-up awaits. Balan's costume. Cool. Is this going to be on the test? Yes. It's definitely a neat secret. The question is, was it even worth a big fat no? The entire process was just a massive headache. None of it was fun for us. How in the world would someone figure this out? We only knew because we looked it up. As we sat up here and took in the wonders of the Isle, we couldn't help but wonder, what would happen if we complete the Tower of Tims? No. Surely we're joking, right? I mean, if you can recall, we didn't have a lot of time to beat the game. And the entire goal was to beat it as fast as possible and not worry about any of the nonsense. Besides, we had to collect 24,000 drops? And we were only a little halfway there? Come on, this is ridiculous. Yep, just like we thought. A massive waste of time. The clock of happiness was fully repaired, yet we felt no sense of happiness inside us. Maybe if we collect all 228 Balan statues and 80 costumes, we'd feel better. Nah, f that. We went back through the door to the darkness. Oh, we don't have any friends. We're doing this strictly for us. There he is, Lance, who ascends like Master Hand. We get a dramatic flashback of our past. That looks more like an edgy advertisement for the newest AirPods. This is it. Time to find our hearts. Activate Balan mode. obviously there's gonna be a second form, right? Yep, then we just get railed by the Egyptian god card Yu-Gi-Oh monster. It looks like we can't rely on our powers to win. We gotta do this by ourselves, with our true form. We slowly limp our way head on, acting like we're some badass Naruto character or something. But we're not. We're just some loser boy named Leo. Wait, what's this? No, we can't do this alone. We do have friends. Yeah, all these pieces of shit. We help find their hearts, so they're returning the favor and helping us find ours. Alright, let's get this over with. Checkmate, fool. It's finally over. Turns out Lance was actually corrupted himself. We weren't just saving ourselves, but Lance too. However, his pure and true form didn't last long as the Nagati monsters consumed him and dragged him back to the Shadow Realm. A reminder that darkness is always lurking. We seem to not give a rat's ass at all because right afterwards, we find our hearts. Like Link does after beating a dungeon boss. Oh, of course, we start dancing, because that's the only thing we know how to do in this game. Just stop dancing! Everyone says their farewells and gives their goodbye hugs and fist bumps to Balan. Before we walk through our doors to the real world, Balan pulls a fast one and reveals his true form. Okay. Well, we're back with our missing piece of heart, though the big question still remains. Are we still an introvert? No. Do we still have the moves? Holy god! Damn, Leo still got it. Leo still got it. Then these punks think they can just outdance us. Oh yeah? So I'll just throw down with our lives on the line. Then out of nowhere, we're suddenly parkour masters. Something we learned from Wonderworld. Like, I think. We grab a basketball, pass it to this bozo for an assist. What was the point of that? Then we pose for the cover of High School Musical 4 or like 5. I don't know. Yeah, just cue the credits. We're done. Every second was an adventure. Yeah, and we were walking barefoot over dry orikete pasta noodles every step of the way. Our experience was equivalent to a dentist appointment for an introverted millennial in the middle of a cold, dreary day in January in Ohio. It was dreadful. Platforming was abysmal. Levels were bunched up, diminishing the sense of exploration. The 80 power-ups were overkill. Was it fun discovering new ones? Yeah, making fun of them. The Isle of Tims lacked depth. The sports minigames were a sick joke. The statues weren't even challenging at all. Balan bouts don't even deserve to be criticized right now because of how long, boring, unfun, and repetitive they were. Repetitive like the enemy battle theme song that plays every 12 seconds when fighting the Nagati enemies. That annoying song plays over the actual good music. Yeah, there's a couple of nice things to say about this game. Almost all the levels have beautifully written music. We say most because Chapter 1 Grasslands makes us car sick. The rest of the music is fantastic. I even know Chapter 11's theme supposedly ripped off a song from Ghostbusters. The boss fight themes had no right being this good. Chapter 8 has soothing vocal melodies, mixed with an eerie vibe, while Chapter 7's is intense, something straight out of an 8-hour epic instrumental music playlist. Warville Wright's theme is a little calming, but has a slow and powerful drop. They're all so unique and complements the atmosphere and aesthetic perfectly. It deceives you into making you think that you're not only saving you and the hearts of others, but that you're saving the entire world that's on the brink of total destruction. Then you're quickly reminded that you're playing a bottom-ass tier game once you hear the garbage musical song that plays shortly afterwards. Speaking of the boss battles, they were actually decent. Sure, some required little brain power to beat, but each of them embodies the bad memories of all 12 characters in their own unique way. There was definitely something there in terms of overall premise of the story. Only if you looked up the story, since it wasn't that clear of what was going on. There's a novel that might help you learn about the overall themes and world, but we already regretfully spent 50 hours playing this absolute disappointment. Alright, we're all blonde out. Wait, secret third act? No. The curse said nothing about post-game content. So, we're in the clear. Balan may have been one of the worst games we've ever played, But hey, it was still an adventure that we'll remember, both in our memories and our hearts. It's time we stop playing games like Club Penguin and play games that make us happy. I mean, beating video games is our passion after all. So it was time to shine the light on the darkness and turn the page to better chapters that lie ahead. Right. Well, I guess it's time to start playing some good games. Agreed. Wait, what about Emma's story? Does that mean that the curse is still here?